Coming to you live from my apartment, it's Rob Has a Podcast. And now here's the guy who's more excited than a shark wearing a necklace filled with human teeth. I'm Rob Cesternino. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to our recap of episode number 9 of Survivor 49. And I'm so excited to be back here with one of our great friends. It's Dr. Evvie Jagoda. Dr. Evvie, how are you?
I'm doing so great, Rob. You know, I love to be here. We're closing out the new era. It's kind of poetic, you know.
Are we closing out the new era? Did you have some intel that the new era is ending?
Oh, well, I just assumed that 49 is kind of, you know, the end of the new era in some sense, but I guess that hadn't even occurred to me that maybe not at all. And I guess is 50 new era? 50 is by definition not new era.
Is that we will be in the new era forever, and there is nothing, there is no, almost like how fashion used to change in the 50s and the 60s and the 70s, and then you got to 2000, and then basically, you know, the phones and like the screens are different, but really that the style, it's like we've kind of been in the new era since like 2006 of whatever this is.
I don't know. I think we might need a fact check on that one. That might be the Rob style era. I feel like there's probably some gradations in the 2006.
You fact check me on this, okay?
Okay.
This
okay. I'm not a fashion
We're in the
expert.
new era of fashion, and it doesn't change anymore. We're in Fiji, and everybody's wearing the same things, and just the phones change. That's
just
it.
The phones. Nothing else is ever changing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Listen, you may know about evolution, but I know about the evolution of like the fashion, and this is it.
But
We've arrived. It's done.
Skinny jeans, baggy jeans.
Sure, made the jeans go in and out, but I mean, I feel like that if I showed you a picture from 1994, you'd say like, okay, it's 1994. But if I show you a picture from like 2013, like is it 2007 or is it like 2023?
I'll just say I feel that someone can do it. It's not me, but I think probably I think and then back to Survivor.
Not even back to Survivor. No, we're on this, and from the listeners, like weigh in. Let us know what you think of this. And let me just also say that if you feel like that, hey, you went to sleep and you woke up and you don't know what year it is, that means you're sleeping great. But if that's not you, check out Manta Sleep, our sponsor for this podcast. Get 10% off. MantaSleep.com with promo code RHAP49. Evvie, I don't mean to come in so hot into this podcast. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Rob. I'm doing great. I've got Wicked tickets after this, so
yes.
I'll hopefully be good, if you know what I mean. That's an inside Wicked
I
joke.
don't know what you mean.
For good. It's you got to watch Act 2, and then maybe
I didn't know you were making a pun about the joke. One of the stars of Wicked is Bowen Yang.
True, a big Survivor fan, famously.
Big Survivor
Parvati fan. Big Parvati fan.
Yes. Did you see that Jeff weighed in on some the recent comments that Matt Rogers made about Parvati, and Jeff was like, "That wasn't me."
What?
Jeremy said that.
Oh, okay, Jeff. You're just gonna throw Jeremy straight under the bus. I mean, Jeff does have a point. Jeremy was the one that answered the question like that, but Jeff certainly
is dug in. Jeremy is locked in on 1.5 wins for Parvati, and Jeff's like, listen, don't make fun, don't get mad at me.
Right. Well, he did ask the question, but just asking questions. But here's the thing: love Jeremy. He lives in Boston. We love that. But Parvati's a two-time winner of Survivor. Take that to the bank.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. So, can you make any parallels between the saga of Wicked and Survivor 49? Let me put you on the spot.
Wow. Okay. Love it. I think that all comes down to who's the Glinda, who's the Alphaba.
It's right. It's Sage and Savannah. Like, she's the mean girl.
Yes.
I don't like her. It's like, well, I'm actually misunderstood. Okay. Maybe is Savannah the Alphaba?
Right. That's so confusing because, okay, I think this actually gets to what is so interesting about those two characters, because I think just looking at the playing field, you would say starting point, Savannah's the Glinda, kind of the popular girl energy, right? Sage, the weirdo collecting blackheads. Nothing could be more alphabet coded than having a weird thing like that should ostracize you. But then we're in this alternate reality where at this point, Sage, clearly the power player of the two of those in the game right now. And I think that's some of this dynamic we're seeing with Savannah and Sage, where Sage perceives herself to be an underdog still, but is actually one of the most powerful players in the game. Savannah, our supposed popular girl, is quite ostracized. So
interesting.
It's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah. It's a Rorschach test.
Totally. Okay. And I'll just say about the eras of Survivor thing, inherently, even if they stay in the new era format, it will be like nothing that's the whole thing about that. Going back to my evolution roots, like it can't stay the same over 20 seasons, no matter what. Like, the first 20 seasons, even though it's all technically old era, obviously tons of gradations. I don't know. Maybe that's not perfect. Or even like, from the 20 to 40, like a lot's going on there, even though it's not predefined eras. It's because we see the players changing. We see all that, it'll be post-modern, new era something, hopefully.
Well, that'll be a fascinating discussion when we get there post 50. What does it look like when we drop the 5, keep the 1? What does the newest era look like? But that's a conversation for a different day. Evvie, just so you know, we know you're going to go see Wicked, but outside of that, well, what's new with you? What's going on?
Let's see. I guess I don't know what new is in terms of when the last time I was here, but I don't know. I have a new job I've had a new job this year since I started in February. I work for a cancer research biotech company.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And so it's quite different from my evolution work, but it's very important and that feels cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's been fun, but it's also like I now have like kind of a real job, like more than I feel like I used to. So yeah.
And how's that going for you? Is that
you're
doing exciting work, but is it like a little bit more of a commitment than you're used to?
Yeah, it's a little like I actually, I'm kind of locked in all day, like doing my job,
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, well, yeah, that's right. You can't do something else at the same time. You're really locked in. Yeah, no, it's cool though, because I think, sometimes you can get a little like, oh, I'm working so hard. But then I step back and, Sam and Brandon before this were asking me what I'm doing. And I mean, it sounds pretty important, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cancer research, pretty good. Helping basically look at like patients. And a lot of the stuff I do is like looking at patients and their genetic mutations in their tumors and seeing which patients respond well to treatment versus don't respond well to treatment and the mutation. So it can help develop new immunotherapy drugs and targeted cancer drugs and stuff. So pretty cool.
All right. Yeah. Important work. And so thank you for making some time in between that and the movie to talk a little bit about Survivor 49. How are you feeling about this season?
I think not a unique take. The beginning was a little rough, a little slower. You always make it fun though. We had a great time at the live show. But yeah,
it's like the Wizard of Oz, where the beginning's in black and white. It's like, oh, I hate this part. It's boring.
Exactly.
But then we hit the merge. Boom, we're in color.
Boom. There's a joke about black and white snake somewhere in there.
Oh my God.
I think ever since the Shannon boot, we picked up extreme. Like that was an episode. I really feel like, I mean, again, everyone says this at the time, but that episode I was sitting there screaming at the TV, like, let's go. It's going to happen. Again, no shade to Shannon. I'm sure she's a great person, but in the edit of the show, I really wanted that to
Bostonian.
Happen. Fellow Bostonian, the princess of the Survivor Cafe. So a lot of clout here in Boston.
Have you been to the Survivor Cafe? Were you up there?
I mean, you can't be a survivor in Boston if you've not been to the Survivor Cafe. I have been. Yeah, I went there during one of the Bryce and Wendell shows. It was at the same venue. Checked out the cafe. They have a bartender there. You cannot get a drink from him. You can only get a Survivor hat. So
what?
It's pretty cool. Yeah.
There's a bartender and he doesn't serve drinks. You can only buy hats from the bartender.
There's secretly.
Wouldn't that make him a hat tender?
There's a guy standing behind the bar that you think might give you a drink, but he will not. He will only sell you Survivor merchandise. But then you can get your sweet Survivor merchandise and then find the other bartender and get a drink. So bing, bang, boom.
Yeah. I buy the Survivor calendar from this guy?
I don't know about the Survivor calendar. I do think there's an opportunity to get the Zaddy calendar behind the bar. I think that
maybe.
That would be.
So did you get any merch when you were there?
I didn't.
Merchatory for you?
But people did have good merch going on. It's fun. It's fun because you're having dinner and you're surrounded by the ambiance of Survivor. It's pretty fun.
Okay.
Good for them.
All right. Listen, I don't know if this is a paid endorsement for the Survivor Cafe, but Evvie, we got to talk about Survivor 49.
Let's get into it. Let's get into it.
So, all right, we had Alex, who was the person who got voted out, and we heard about Alex. Oh my God, this guy is playing the middle so hard. He's got to go.
Yeah. You know what I think? Okay, here's my take. You know who's really playing the middle? Jawan and Sage. Where the hell are they?
Are they playing the middle well?
No, I don't think so. I think they were doing great until this week. But I feel like I finished last night's episode, and I feel like a lot of the discussion is like, why didn't they get out? Why didn't they flush Rizzo's idol? Why did they get out Alex? But it's all being said like, why did the majority alliance do this? But it's not the majority alliance. Like Steven and Kristina got blindsided by their two allies who basically just flipped back to the minority. So they just kind of flip back to the minority. Like they're playing the middle in a more concrete way than Alex was, who was just kind of, I feel like Alex was more like a number for anyone. That's not really the same as playing the middle.
Yeah, maybe Alex was playing the middle when there was like a 7-person alliance that voted out Nate. And he was sort of like playing the middle between, the whatever the bottoms up was with Steven and Juwan and Sage, and then also with Sophie and MC and Kristina. Maybe he was like in the middle of that. But I mean, he was not playing the middle between like Rizzo and Savannah, or Rizzo and Savannah are like, oh, is Alex with us or not, or what? Right. I would not characterize what Alex was doing as playing the middle.
Right, exactly. I mean, maybe it's like he was hard to pin down, which I do understand that as a trustworthy,
friendly guy.
Yeah. But on the other, it's like, where was Alex really going? Like, what damage was, if you think that the most damage he could do is that he flips to Savannah and Rizzo, probably better off getting rid of Rizzo, if you're so worried about the flip back. And I also, I don't know. So I mean, I think so. Juwan and Sage have so much power, and they therefore have this ability to mull over every possible option, and they're taking too many of those options. They're not restricted enough.
You think that maybe if they had less options that they would be doing better?
Yes, which granted, Rizzo did seem to insert the Alex narrative pretty hard, which I thought, sorry, I have a lot to say. Rizzo is getting a very interesting edit, I feel. Overall, very positive, but I feel like there's been glimmers where I'm like, are they dunking on him? But they're not really. But I'm like, in that scene with with him pushing the Alex narrative, I thought that was a bit comedic when I first watched it. Like, I thought that was showing us, oh, Rizzo thinks he's got everybody on Alex, but no, of course he doesn't. But then he did. So that's obviously on me reading it wrong. But I don't know. I'm a little...
You doubt the Riz God?
Rizgod, Riz God, baby. That is good. I have to say, I love that so much. I assumed I would hate it. I saw the trailer at the end of 48. I was like, what are we doing here? I love it. I can't stop saying it. I think it's amazing. It's great.
Did you consider giving yourself a nickname?
Yeah, Evgod. He totally ripped that straight off. No, I didn't. Okay, I have something to say about names also now that we're on this topic. I'm just flying all around.
I love how fired up you are.
I'm fired up. You know me. I can talk. About Survivor. Okay.
Cancel Wicked. You can go another night.
Yeah, it is going to be playing for a long time, right? Okay, the whole Sophie thing, that would have killed me. The fact that he asked her that at a mat chat, like in front of everyone.
I mean, was it not unlike, okay, should we say, come on in, guys?
Yeah,
and
that sucked. And that sucked. We should be doing everything possible to get away from things like the come on in, guys, mat chat. Like, okay, I remember really distinctly in the pregame of Survivor 41, you have these individual meetings with Jeff and Kierhofer and the director. You're kind of, they all meet with you. And one thing I said I forget how it came out. I was just like, by the way, I just want to be really clear. It's Evvie, not Evvie. And Jeff looks at me and Jeff's serious and is like, you will never hear me say Evvie. And I was like, wow. Jeff really cares about saying my name right. That makes me feel so good and like respected in this production. And if in the middle of the game, he'd be like, Ev's cool, right? Okay, great. It's Ev now. And Ev is on all the things. I would find that annoying. And Yellow Sophie was the one that declared that it's okay, that it's like, she's Sophie and the other one is Soph. That was kind of a badass move. You gotta give her that.
She claimed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it really threw me off when she said, "Hey, it's Sophie Segretti Survivor time." It's like, wait, hold on. Now we're dropping a new name for you?
Yes. I had that in my notes.
Rebranding?
Savannah at some point says Sophie S. And I was like, which one's Sophie S? That's not a nomenclature we're given. They needed to decide that.
They have colors, they have initials, Sophie.
I think blue and yellow was working fine. And I think we should stay there.
So with their tribe color.
Yeah. Did you get a nickname? Because aside from I won't say it here, but the Rob who
the Rob that sucks.
I
became the Rob that sucks well after my Survivor playing career. That the fans were trying to figure out a way, who is who, and I was blogging about Survivor during Survivor Nicaragua, and somebody's like, "Oh, that's so cool! Boston Rob is blogging about the season." And the fan said, no, that's not Boston Rob. That's the Rob that sucks.
Sure.
So that's how you tell the difference.
That's how you tell the difference.
That's how you tell the difference. And so I played with Boston Rob on Survivor.
Oh, I guess
All-Stars.
He's Boston Rob. He's
Boston Rob,
right.
But I was always Rob C. Also.
Very bachelor coded of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And so and sometimes that if you're on a show and somebody has the same name as you, there could be like a little bit of like, oh, well, who calling what?
Right. And I think it's been fun to see the Sophies work together. It really felt like Sophie squared. That was good. It seemed like I thought when the whole Sophie thing happened that Yellow Sophie was really trying to bury Blue Soph, but I don't know. We'll keep straight. I mean, I finally got
nice that they're not competitive over it.
Yeah. And it's good we got rid of, again, RIP Shannon, but need more S girls out of the game, unfortunately. Just for the name.
Too many women with the S names.
It's just a lot. It's a lot. But I've got it now. The pre-merge was a little rough.
Pre-merge was rough. Okay. So let's go back to Juwan and Sage in terms of like their positioning in the game and how they're playing it, because I feel like that they were together on these last couple of votes, but I felt like that they sort of switched who wanted what from last week's vote to this week's vote, where I felt like that last time, I felt like that was more Sage saying like, hey, why don't we go for Rizzo? And Juwan's like, nah, let's work with them because they're here. And then I felt like that this week it was more Juwan saying like, hey, this is the time. Let's take our shot on Rizzo. And Sage was like, but what if we don't?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, and I heard you talking about that with Steven. I can't quite tell the distribution of who's kind of, I couldn't quite see who was driving between Sage and Juwan, like in each of these individual weeks around that. But, and maybe there's specific scenes you're thinking of, but to me, I think overall, like, and we're working with this situation where at the end of the day, I think Juwan and Sage, to me, I feel it honestly more of Juwan having warm feelings towards Rizzo and like things like that. Like, I don't know. I feel like, well, credit to Rizzo and Savannah did a good job after the Nate vote of being like, don't worry, we're fine. Like, we want to work with you. In my opinion, I thought Rizzo was doing a particularly good job of that. Like, don't worry about it at all. Don't worry about it at all. So much so that I feel like Juwan and Sage have fully re-put Savannah and Rizzo back in their heads as potential numbers for them, people they could work with. They obviously have a longer relationship with them than the former Yellow Tribe members, right? But and I think, yeah, especially, I mean, I think Savannah has clearly been a red flag threat for everybody. But Rizzo clearly, it's not the same. It doesn't have the same juice to it. And I think every time Savannah's not available, it becomes like less exciting to do the Rizzo plan, you know?
Yeah. And for Juwan and Sage, I think that they have a little bit of a blind spot in that they don't maybe recognize just how close Soph is, because Soph has done a good job of like, hey, I'll do whatever. I don't care. Like, yeah, I was with those guys, but I don't care about them. And then also, I don't think that they see that Yellow Sophie has also jumped ship and is with them. So maybe it's a wake-up call where now that they see that there were so, like, I didn't know that the Sophs were also voting voting with us on this one. Boy, we switched and voted with, they already had 4. And now there were 6 votes for Alex last night.
Yeah, that's a great. I've been wondering about that too, of if they knew that or not, because that is so interesting. Like if they did know that, how did that come about? Because then they are just fully saying we're going to blindside Kristina and Steven, which I don't feel like would be their intention, because we know they have good relationships with those people. So, which by the way, wow, Kristina probably should have kept that chicken, you know. A lot of good ultimately did. By the way, I'm with you, not Steven. Everything in Survivor is strategy. Even the nice human moments are strategy. Kristina, she's got the poker face. She said it herself, you know.
Yeah. Does she have a good poker face or not? But it really seems like that she told us in the confessional, no, I did this as something nice. And I asked Alex also, like, what do you think? Was this strategy and he said, no, I think it was something nice. He said, but, you know, it's a little bit maybe. But why do people want to be? No, I want it to be even outside the game. Like, I understand like why you would say it in the game, but why not in the confessional?
I guess
why
that's
do people
true.
lie in the confessionals? And again, maybe Kristina is like out there somewhere and will post it with like, 100%. I wasn't even thinking about the game. I love Juwan.
Well, okay, let's say
I just wanted to see him eat.
Yeah,
He's getting too skinny.
I mean, fair enough. I guess like it's also, you know, she did do it's like she did that and it happened to be someone she was working with, right? Like I think that's the kind of like you build your own self narrative as well of I just really
like
love him.
If Riz God had not eaten yet, would she have said, Riz God, you got to eat, baby?
I just don't think so, personally. That's what I'm saying. Like it's, you know, when your natural human instincts happen to line up with what is happening in the game, well, that's, you know, that's the perfect recipe for doing something nice. But it is always risky, like to put yourself, it's putting yourself in the spotlight as doing something. Maybe she was purely nice, but you've got someone like me sitting there being like, oh my God, Kristina is such a schemer. Did you see the way she gave up that food for Juwan? That was so sketchy. You know what I mean? You don't know.
Well, you know, this came up in Survivor Winners at War. And I heard Jeremy on the On Fire podcast talking about when it came up in San Juan del Sur, but it happened in Winners at War where, remember, Sarah Lacina was like, oh, I'm allergic to MSG. I can't eat Chinese food. Nick Wilson, you take my spot. And Adam Klein, like, oh, yeah, right. Okay. And people got mad at him.
Yeah. I mean, this is Survivor, people. You've got to assume that there's something going on behind everything, you know? And Xander on my season gave up his grilled cheese for Erica because he doesn't eat, he's paleo. So, or I don't know if he's still paleo. At the time he was paleo, didn't eat any of the grilled or cheese. And for me,
what's the grilled?
I don't know. The bread.
Yeah.
Which, okay, no, we're not going to get into the paleo diet. We got to stay focused. Yeah. But I will say for me, it added to my perception of, Xander's always pretending to be this nice guy, but obviously he's up to something. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd love to go back to Xander because Steven on the Know-It-Alls brought up that Xander had his idol in Survivor 41. And we were saying at the time, like, well, why don't they do anything with his idol? Why don't they try to get it out? And really the response we got from people, I remember Danny saying that, like, yeah, well, we didn't think he was going to win. We weren't that worried about what he was doing. And Steven was wondering, like, could that potentially be going on with Rizzo, where people are like,
right,
like what, like Rizzo with an idol? But what I pushed back on that, I said, no, we see people constantly talking about we have to flush Rizzo's idol.
Right. And that to me, I think is the key difference, because I've obviously been thinking about the same thing as well. And I think that really is the key difference, that we're certainly seeing players in the game saying that it's important to get Rizzo's idol out in a way that I don't perfectly remember what's shown in the episodes, but I don't remember that being a big feature of the episodes of Survivor 41. It wouldn't necessarily have been something that people were talking about with me so much because it's kind of on the Xander side. Well, Liana really wanted to get him out with the idol, but she was pretty much the only one that was like super motivated for that. So I think what you have with Rizzo is, again, it's threat level is non-binary, you know, like so many things in life. And, you know, I think it's clearly Savannah is a higher target than Rizzo. Like, I think we can tell that there's a drop off there because they're not like we see people keep saying what we want to do is flush the idol and get Savannah out. Like that seems to be the order of priorities, where the idol, it's like Savannah, idol, Rizzo, or something like that. But clearly Rizzo and the idol is a big enough threat that it's at least the second choice of things that they're trying to do at all times. So yeah, I think it's probably not as straightforward as he's got no chance and that's why he's ending up with the idol. But I think clearly the people that every week decide it's not that important to take out Rizzo aren't as afraid of him, or at least think they're working with him, like Juwan and Sage maybe think they have the Rizzo option. I feel like
that's really so interesting that I never really thought about that, of trying to parse the idea of the idol and Rizzo, where it feels like that players, they don't like that he has the idol. But if he didn't have the idol, would they even be thinking about Rizzo at all?
Right. And I think not that much. And I think that's why this keeps happening, because it's not like that worth it to them. It feels like to bank everything on, we're going to do this because that's so important that even if the secondary thing happens, like it's clearly not that high of a priority. Right. And then, you have the other thing where this is kind of what I'm saying about the Rizzo edit. Again, like I think he's definitely doing a lot of things really good, but there are some things like we've heard people say, he's so cocky, right? There was that little moment where Blue Sophie said, just like really offhanded to Rizzo and Savannah, "You don't have Juwan and Sage, by the way." Do you remember that in last night's episode? And I thought that was like so amazing of like, I think in the split tribal episode, obviously it worked out for Rizzo, but I think there was a lot of other things happening that Rizzo didn't know about between the dynamics of what was going on between, MC and Sophie and the, Hinky vote and all that. And so it's like, I think he thinks that he's doing everything amazing. And like, that's why he is having so much success. And I think he's doing a lot of stuff really good. And a lot of other stuff is happening also. Yeah. And I think it's not all about I think there's some cracks in the Rizzo game that I think people are like, Savannah, she's a killer. Rizzo, he's kind of a goof guy.
It's very hard to really parse that. And that's why I was pushing back on Steven, who wanted to give Rizzo the fishy last week. And I felt like that maybe it was more a Savannah week to give it to her, because I felt like that she shows up and then really that's when things really fall apart for that side. But was Rizzo really pushing all the right buttons last week, or did the other side just fall apart once Savannah showed up, where they had that plan where, okay, we're going to put our votes onto Rizzo, and if he doesn't play his idol, then on the tiebreaker, we'll vote out Juwan. And that's where things really started to fall apart in terms of like MC talking to Juwan, and then like, well, who's doing what? But if they would have just said, okay, we're gonna just vote out Rizzo tonight.
Yep. I know. I think that's the thing. I think I
think that would have worked.
Right. I think it definitely would have worked, because we know he wasn't playing the idol. Like, I think that they're getting so caught up in what is the perfect secondary plan for if he plays the idol, and then and then they get all their fighting on what's the other thing we want to do, and then they just start doing that thing. But like, they easily, if Juwan knows that Sophie's putting a vote on him, like there was some way to do a different vote split, throw, I can't remember the exact numbers, but like throw one vote if just tell MC, no, you put your vote on Sophie. Like there was some other way to do that besides, we can't even put any votes on Rizzo. We have to focus on this MC Sophie situation. Right. And I don't think Alex was urgent in any way at all. I have to say that's quite,
Do you think it was a mistake to take out Alex from that side?
I think especially knowing, and I don't know how much they knew this, but the fact of, they did know that they didn't include Steven and Kristina. And I think it was an absolute mistake to blindside those people, unless you're like, we are 100% going back with the Rizzo thing. If you're not saying we're on team Rizzo Savannah now, I don't think you blindside Steve. Like they took out Alex, they blindsided Steven and Kristina. So now they have to work with Rizzo and Savannah, and I guess they think Yellow Soph is still with them. It's kind of bizarre. It's a little bizarre. It's like, what's the overall scheme? So I think regardless of how important Alex was, I think blindsiding Kristina and Steven was something that should be done with like high intention,
Yeah. And this is dangerous ground to try to like see things that aren't necessarily in the edit, but if we see that Sage and Yellow Sophie also have some kind of a bond, like the show is really showing us that Rizzo and Savannah are doing all the work of pulling Yellow Sophie over. But I feel like that there is at least some reason to believe that Sage and Yellow Sophie had hit it off from when Sage was tribe swapped with Yellow Sophie. And if Yellow Sophie is maybe doing some work with, say, like, hey, vote, like, I'm with these guys, vote with, like, they don't have the numbers, vote with us, like, let's vote out. And Alex is talking so much crap about Yellow Sophie. This is going to be great. I think that there's a possibility that maybe Yellow Sophie is also helping to bring along Sage and by proxy, Juwan.
I definitely, could see that. But then again, why not say, Steven, Kristina, it turns out Alex is this huge threat for us right now. Like, would they have been if they know that Juwan and Sage are not doing the Rizzo plan, are they so all in on Alex that they're going to go against it? You know what I mean? I think that's, to me, the thing that is the biggest problem with that.
Well, I think that Steven told Sage about Kristina's idol. Now, if you tell Kristina and Steven about that, there's a possibility that Kristina's like, oh, really? Okay, I'm playing the idol for Alex tonight.
Another perfect reason. We know Kristina has an idol. Why are you blindsiding the person with the idol? What's she going to do next week? Like, you know what I mean? I see that, but it's like, okay, so you're going around your allies so that she doesn't play an idol to save this person that you don't even care. Like, let her burn the idol on Alex.
And let me just reiterate again, because I see this in the comments sometimes of that. This is a theory that are Yellow Sophie and Sage, and they're not necessarily getting as much of a rich edit as some of the other people in the season. Maybe we're just not seeing that relationship, and more credit is being given to other people for bringing Yellow Sophie in.
I buy that for sure. And Yellow Sophie is so devastatingly under-edited, especially for the person. She's been so fun. I mean, but it's just always so fun. It's like Brett from Samoa. All of a sudden, someone appears and they're the biggest challenge threat ever, and we need to get them out. And
He's
know
not
nothing
Mike
about
Tyson.
them.
He's Brett.
She's not the Terminator. She's Yellow Sophie, So anyway, I think that's totally possible. And I think Yellow Sophie is doing amazing work. I mean, it was a really good, I think there's definitely something of when you see your Survivor life flash before your eyes, you do get that clarity, right? And we see Blue Sophie navigating the game so well. I think definitely like having all those, the times on the disaster tribe contributes to that. Yellow Sophie clearly realized something was up, And just to say, in that scene where Yellow Sophie comes back from the split tribal, and she says, I feel like everyone's surprised to see me. The only person who says something is Juwan says, I'm sorry you feel that way.
Sorry you feel that way. Juwan, you were with her.
Yeah. You can Juwan could have said, of course not, Sophie. That's why we all unanimously voted with you. I mean, at least that. I guess he probably didn't want to piss off the other people, but it's like, you can't. I think Juwan is like, and I think I was guilty of this. He's trying to have it all. He wants to have everyone. He wants to have everyone feel good about him. I won't, maybe I don't come for Yellow Sophie because I don't want to piss off Kristina. You just voted out MC. So it's like, you know what? You gotta make people mad on Survivor,
Yeah. And I didn't like something that Steven said in the episode where he's talking with Sage about things, and I'm trying to make sure that I have this right, but he talked about how that, okay, I want to share with Sage that she has the idol, and it's all about like game awareness, he said. And he's like, yeah, and that's, see, and it's that lack of game awareness that shows when Sophie came back and was mad that like we didn't expect for her to come back. Like, that's her lack of game awareness showing. It's like, hold on, no, that's, you guys are making a mistake, and she's clocking it. That's not her lack of game awareness.
Right. And in fact, it was game awareness that she realized that everyone was having a really weird reaction to her coming back. So I totally agree. I thought that was bizarre.
And perhaps she had a lack of game awareness to not see initially that she was at the bottom, but she's got the LASIK. She's seeing clearly. You all are having the lack of game awareness to not realize that you are making her mad.
Yes, totally. And again, they just lost a number from their original tribe. Like, that's key time.
Yeah.
Let's bring in Yellow Sophie, who is also the only like challenge opponent to Savannah, who's supposedly the person you really want off.
Yeah. And let me also just add to this that I think that side of things really did botch things with Yellow Sophie, because there was a secret scene, and bad on me that I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I think I got the gist of it. So they released the schoolyard pick.
Oh, I saw that. I also didn't watch
it. And in the schoolyard pick, I believe Kristina was one of the captains, and she doesn't pick Yellow Sophie. And I think that Yellow Sophie is annoyed about this. So like, hey, I'm why wouldn't you pick me? I'm killing it in the challenges. Sam or Brandon, can you just confirm that I have that right and I'm not just putting out misinformation?
Which, by the way, we've got 90 minutes. Like, let's see stuff like that. Like, that is clearly an important part of the dynamic. Like,
well, then you gotta cut something. What are you gonna cut? What do you want to cut from the episode?
We could just watch these challenges way quicker,
just cut a couple minutes out of the challenge.
Yeah. How many ring toss chances do we need, Wait, I had something to say about, going back even to the split tribal vote. Just remember that the whole thing started with Sophie, Yellow Sophie says, I'm going to put a safety vote on Juwan. So Sophie thinks Juwan is dispendable to her. She tells MC. MC feels that Juwan is not expendable to her and tells Juwan, and ultimately Juwan votes for MC and keeps Sophie. And that's not correct, in my opinion. Like, the reason all this quote unquote chaos started is that MC was like doing you a solid. Sophie finds you expendable. Like, why, I don't understand that outcome. I just feel like they have all the power, and therefore they feel that they get to make these decisions, which they do. But when you make the decisions, you gotta make the right decisions,
Right. There comes a point when you need to throw your lot in with one side, and you can't be going back and forth too much.
Right. And I think it's the classic
Will Wall problem.
Yes, the pendulum. Yeah, but he at least knew he was doing the pendulum. That's what I'm kind of curious about of Juwan and Sage. Like, yeah, they're playing the middle. I mean, I had something to say. Decisions. Yeah.
Like, what's their end game? What are they rooting for? Like, who do they want to go to the end with? Are they on the same page with who the third person is in their final three? Is it Steven?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I haven't seen Juwan talk to Steven in like 4 episodes.
Yeah, right. I mean, maybe they just think that because they are so dominant now, it doesn't really matter who the other person is. They assume that they'll be able to get Savannah and Rizzo out along the way. I don't know. I mean, I think I was going to say, I think it's the classic, like, that plan is too boring. Like focusing on having the idol flush as your main goal is not as interesting as like focusing on, well, who are we getting out in the backup plan of it? You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, Rizzo, of course, we know we need to get rid of Rizzo, but that's like, you know what I mean? It's not tantalizing in the way of, ooh, there's this new thing I thought of, that there's this Alex guy and he's in the middle, and like, like, I don't know. Maybe there was more to that than we saw also, because like Alex made that joke and everyone laughed, and clearly there was a narrative of Alex as this really middle guy that even Alex knew about. So I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. Maybe it was something that had come up at Tribal Council of, is Alex somebody who is been playing the middle too much, and because he does address it in, I would say, like, well, this was totally made up by the edit, but it does. He even himself brings it up.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, yeah. Go ahead.
I'd love to talk about Alex and Soph, because this relationship was probably the most important relationship in the show through the first 4 episodes, where they come out of that and it's like, hey, we are number ones, and we're sort of like, okay, this is like our Malcolm and Denise. They have survived this, and this is going to be a very important relationship. Even like Ricard and Shan are the 2 people who come away from UA, and that while they are not necessarily, going to go to the end together, it's an important relationship for the show. But really, after those first 4 episodes, we really I think we see them have one conversation on the beach. And it's like, oh, hey, you remember we went to, you remember me from high school?
Right.
It's like, oh, yeah, Alex, right? Yes.
Right. Well, I mean, and I think this is the thing. They weren't Malcolm Denise. They weren't Ricard and Shan, who those people were all like, we are number one allies, or at least, I mean, Shan, everybody was her number one ally, but Ricard included. We all know that if Alex hadn't had the idol, it would have been Soph and Jeremiah, who's our final two. That's what it seemed like from the Blue Tribe, right? Like Alex and Soph was made by Soph's self-preservation.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
and at the end of
yeah. So I'm trying to think of like a parallel for this, but really that Alex had his number one was Jake.
Right.
And then also Soph was like, okay, my number one is Jake. And they sort of like were linked by this mutual number one who then got taken away.
Right.
And then they were sort of like by proxy, okay, we are left with each other. But without Jake, that he was the glue between them.
Yep. No, absolutely. Absolutely. And like, yeah. And I
would say that this is like and it doesn't work with three people as well, but it was like that, Jake was the Carrie Bradshaw, and that, it would be like, okay, are Miranda and Samantha hanging out without Carrie?
Right. I thought you were going to say Big and the other guy. Like if they...
It's not necessarily a love triangle.
Well...
Because the love triangle, you're sort of like rivals competing for the same person.
Right.
Whereas like when it's like this friend group, but everybody, there's like the one friend in the middle. You could do it with Seinfeld also. Like are George and Elaine hanging out ever too much when Jerry's not around?
Right. And when it comes to it, they're going to self-preservation in the next situation, right? Or like new friends come along. Clearly new friends came along that Sophie clicked with way more. And I don't know that we saw the same for Alex.
She got her own spinoff.
Right.
She's Frasier. She's off and she's having a great time with her new friends.
Right. Did you catch also Alex has the episode title, right? Or no, sorry. Rizzo has the episode title about Alex, right? If you're loyal to everyone, you're loyal to all, you're loyal to none. Soph says at some point, you got to be loyal to someone. You got or something about Savannah. And I think there was a dichotomy where I feel like every conversation you saw with Alex, you could feel that he was a little squirmy, a little play in the middle. You could feel that he was kind of, vacillating around. Soph is actually really doing that as well, but she has that thing of making you feel like you're really with her in that.
Yeah, she's really good at it.
Yeah, that's right. She's just better at it, maybe.
She's really good at it. Where he is, I think, just is very social. And I think that, like, he can go to the cocktail party and he can, like, oh, hey, how are you? And he's smiles. And I feel like that Soph, her power is like, yeah, I have nothing, but I'd work with you. Like I'm cool. I'm cool with you, but I have nothing. I'm just looking for a way in. I'm just like, I don't have, look at me. I'm from the old tribe. I have nobody left. That nobody wants to work with me. Like I'm on the outs with Rizzo and Savannah. That they don't really, I was just a number for them. And she's really good at putting herself in a position of not necessarily of weakness, but I'm not a threat. Like I'm not winning these challenges. I'm not somebody that's really tapped in, but we could build something. Little do they know, she actually has great relationships. She actually has the most powerful advantage in the game, and she's not telling anybody. So good. She's done really great work to sort of like make herself seem small and non-threatening and keep her threat level really low while she's actually quite threatening.
Yes. I think that's it completely. Like Alex is doing a schmooze. Like it feels that way, and she is doing an amazing job of, you don't even realize that she's doing that, Yeah. And I think it's epic, that moment where Savannah and where Rizzo's like, we're the three of us and Savannah has an extra vote and we have an idol and we're the most powerful trio in the game. And Soph just sits there, does not add the other thing that they have. And I just think that that's so good. That's that self-preservation instinct you really need. Right. But yeah.
Soph actually learned another secret in this episode. She found out that Savannah is actually not in marketing, or is in marketing, but before that was in news.
Right. Yep. I mean, Okay, I was trying to think of a parallel of what is the equivalent of you tell someone a meaningless secret and it makes them trust you. And I was wondering, the thing that came to my mind was Corey Wurtenberger having the secret that Zach is his brother.
My brother was on Survivor 40
yeah,
too.
But I couldn't remember. I think even that did cause some people to distrust him a little bit. So I think that okay, I'm a filthy hypocrite because I did lie about my profession. I said that I said that I was a research assistant and I was a PhD student doing the same things. I kind of slanted it. It.
Okay, but did you reveal that on the island?
No, I did not. I think once you're doing it, well, I don't know. I mean, I think it worked in that moment, but I think we see that people don't trust Savannah. And I do think that when you have a lie, even a meaningless lie, if you are keeping something, you are being sketchy. Like Xander told us he was a business student and he's actually a comp sci student. And that wouldn't have changed my impression of him at all. But it did sometimes feel like he was lying about stuff, you know?
But I feel like that the relationship between Soph and Savannah, where I think that Soph, other than Rizzo, is like the one person that does not seem threatened by Savannah. And Soph is an entrepreneur, and I don't think that she's necessarily feels like that Savannah is a person that like threatens her at all. And so Savannah then reveals something to somebody who already feels good about Soph, or he feels good about Savannah, and it seems to deepen that bond. And now I think Savannah's like, oh, I feel like I can trust Soph more, and Soph is like feeling possibly better about Savannah. I think it's the type of thing where it works with your allies and makes your allies like trust you more. But if it was somebody, if she went and told this to Sage, said, I knew it. I knew she was hiding something. This is so Savannah that she's like has all these secrets. She's not telling us anything. So I feel like if somebody already has a negative opinion about you, any information, you know, the cognitive dissonance is like, it's that see?
Yep. No, I think that's really true. I mean, but also just to say, we don't know how this is going to resolve. Does Soph at some point say, hey, Rizzo, I think like you and Savannah aren't as close as you think you are because she told me this thing that she didn't tell you. Like you're creating a thing. Soph at any time could be like, if you know, we're getting deep into the game and she doesn't want to sit next to Savannah in the final three, this can be in the arsenal. It's not going to matter that much. But like you said, it is like a thing. I don't know. I hear that. I mean, you know, it does make her feel close and it could
Could you have told Tiffany that actually I'm a PhD student?
Probably, but I didn't need to because I was telling Tiff so much other like deep personal stuff. Like, you know, like I think at the end of the day, Soph already was with Savannah. I mean, people do use those, you know, secrets and game secrets as signs of relationship, but also if you're opening up with your heart about real stuff, that also achieves that. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to talk about,
and I think Tiff probably it would have been fine, but she also might have told some people that, you know, she could have used it. She could have used it.
Okay. Let's talk about in the challenge. We saw Steven really start to open up and tell us all his facts about space. Did you learn anything new about
I thought
space?
that was crazy, the thing that he said. Did we get more? There was really one that stuck in my head. His opening thing, which was that, right? It was that if you took I think it was that if you took all of the planets in our solar system and lined them up, it wouldn't take all the space between the Earth and the moon. Right?
I was like, yeah, that tracks. That makes sense.
Does it? I don't know that. I mean, I guess it does. It's right. So.
I mean, I guess Jupiter they say is really big, but yeah,
really
it's
big.
like you know, I feel like that Mars is smaller than Earth. Like I feel like that the moon is like.
But the moon is like so close. You know, it's like it's right there.
I guess it's close-ish, but I feel like it's more than like a few. I guess that really Jupiter and Saturn they say are really big. So I don't know how big. That's really like that. I think that would have been the thing. But like he's like, okay, I bought that.
You know, it was something I'd never thought about it. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
Hadn't considered the relative.
But do you feel like that in one episode, did we go from like 0 to 1 million in that all now Steven's everything he talks about is space metaphor, and now to the point where even at Tribal Council, he's like, do you want a story or a kangaroo story?
Yeah, I really wish he had the kangaroo one prepared because we did, and this is
Don't bluff that you have a kangaroo story if you don't have one.
We went from no science space facts to dare I say, too many.
Too many.
The
Where
little
Jeff
pigeonholes.
had to cut him off. I was surprised that was in the episode. Like, all right, Steven, enough, because we gotta listen.
Well, Steven tells his in more of a like dad joke energy than the Christian Hubicity, like college professor organic-y thing. Like not that it's not organic from Steven, but it's a bit more performance.
Yeah. I think Steven mistimed it, where the famous Christian monologues where he goes into everything talking about like macarons and the Reuben sandwich and all these things. This is hours into a challenge. It seems like that we went to Steven, that it was not even 10 minutes in, and he started doing all the space facts, and like Jeff's not even tired. Jeff's not even looking for a break yet.
Right. No, he was like, this is my show, bro.
Yeah. It's like, okay, challenge is starting. Okay, here's my tight 10. Yeah. Here's my TED Talk real quick.
I just find it really impressive, though, that he didn't drop, because I think, like, to me, all the times where I lost on a Survivor challenge is when you start thinking about something else. Like, I think the only way to do it is like be just thinking about that. So I think it's impressive. Yeah. It's not the skill I have.
The individual immunity that you won, that was an endurance challenge, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was balancing the block. Yeah.
Famously the shortest time of that challenge, but they did make it harder. Okay. There was a lot of discords at the time. I don't know if you're locked into this. Yeah. And it was
what
that.
What was the discourse?
Well, it was so it was the one where you got the block on your head and you're basically doing a calf raise. In Cagayan, I think
Tasha.
Tasha and Redmond do it for like
Raymond.
I was really trying to get the new name.
Yeah, Ryman.
They do it for like 2 hours or something, and I won it in like 7 minutes or something. Mm-hmm. But they made the distance way bigger. I was doing a way harder.
It's like the new era. It's shorter, but it's harder.
Exactly. It's
faster, but it's more intense.
The two that seem relevant to me are that one where I was just like, don't think about anything, just like fully like don't move a muscle. And then and the one before that, it was the one where you have to stack, this was like the mergatory immunity thing where you had to stack the blocks into a thing and then put the flag in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that one, I was killing it. I was in first the whole time. And then when it came to the flag, the second I thought, oh my God, I might win, then I knocked the block over, you know?
Yeah.
You gotta.
So that was a foot challenge that you did. And famously, the Baylor Wilson was the first person to win that challenge when they did it. Now, they had another, been a lot of feet challenges so far on this season in the individual portion of the game. And so this was a challenge. And now we talked about Parvati's 2 wins earlier. Did you watch Australian Survivor versus the World?
Of course. And I loved it so much. It was amazing.
Yes. And Parvati, this was one of the immunity challenges that she won for her tribe.
Oh, yes, right. Was that the one? I actually don't remember exactly when this was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, and please fact check me if I'm wrong about this. So it was I think it was a tribe challenge, but maybe did somebody get?
Was it not the one?
No, maybe both tribes were going to tribal council, and you got individual immunity.
Yes, because her and Cass, right?
Her and Cass, and she made the deal, and she's like, "Hey, let me have this one, and then next time I'll let you have the endurance challenge immunity."
Right. There's also in Australian Survivor Heroes Villains, there's also an epic. There's like a variation on it where Liz and Shani are like holding the thing together, and that one's quite memorable to me too.
Yeah. You know what? I feel like that we don't ever do these types of challenges in the pre-merge. Like the challenge that we did with the split tribal council, like why don't we ever do that as because we need 3 tribes. But why don't we do that for individual or for tribal immunity?
Yes. And
like
I think
we used to do this. We used to be a proper country.
Yes. I mean, I do think, it's, again, everyone's saying this, but it just does get repetitive that they're structured the same. And, as someone who
everything's a race.
Right. And as someone who really cares about, the equity of these things, it's like those first challenges, they always stack them on, you got to lift heavy things. And like, that's the skill. That is the key thing of whether you're good at challenges or not. And no, so many challenges on Survivor don't involve heavy lifting or things like that are much more biased towards men. And so like, I do think, having more endurance-y things would mix up the pre-merge so much.
I mean, not to get too much into Australian Survivor versus the world, but and this is still even lifting heavy things of like, okay, everybody has a sandbag, and then the last person who has a sandbag up, but we used to have things like this in the pre-merge of like the challenge where the two tribes are running around the racetrack, and I forget what that's called.
Yeah,
but that you could do other things that aren't just like a race that ends with a puzzle. Like there were things where it would be like a group endurance challenge.
Yeah, and I think that's fun. I think it's just fun to have variance,
Yeah. Because they love these endurance challenges in the post-merge. Like, why don't you mix it up a little bit and do one or two in the pre-merge?
Yeah, and it's epic because you really are seeing, there's some element of how bad do you want it, which also true or not true, like the challenge that on the episode I went out on, I did really want it, but I knew I was never gonna.
Yeah, and I think that probably the answer is, well, Rob, because there's 3 tribes. You can't have, if like one tribe drops out of the challenge, well, now they're going to tribal council, and then so what do you do with the other 2? Is just like, are they just keeping going for reward? Or what's the point?
They could do that. They could do that. Or, or two people get voted out. I guess we're going to have that in Survivor 50 sometimes, right? So like two tribes vote. So it's, listen, I just think anything where you come up with a limitation, like, oh, you can't because 3 tribes, these are some very creative people. They can figure it out,
Yeah. Evvie, you brought up Survivor 50.
Yeah.
How come there's no Survivor 41 representation on Survivor 50?
You're telling me, Rob.
Wasn't it the dawn of the new era?
You would think so. Obviously, I'm bummed about it, like for myself, but also just for my whole season. Like, I think I personally feel Shan, that's a big miss. Shan should have been there. To me, she's
well, not for anything. I think that there's only one person from the first 4 seasons of the new era.
And that's really sad. There were some great seasons. There's no one from 44, right? Which is, I think,
it
crazy.
Is crazy.
I thought they loved that.
If you would have told us in like 2023, hey, Rob, the last 2 years of Survivor you just watched, the next time they do an all-star season, they're going to bring back one person.
Literally. And it's
like, oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, you mean Carolyn? Like, no.
Right. I do think it's sad. I really wish, especially given how samey the new era has been. I think really could have used a new era all-stars in like 46, 47 or something.
Hindsight's 2020.
Yeah. And here's what I have to say. Cause I think that if someone from my season was on Survivor 50, I think that would be prompting a lot more rewatches of the season. That's the thing that makes me, the saddest, aside from, my own personal interest of it would have been fun to play again. And I think we need to do some rewatches of those seasons nonetheless, because I think they're way better than people think. And by their way better, I just mean my season. I think people like 40, 42 and 44 and 43 is whatever. So I think people underrate my season, surprisingly, shockingly.
But isn't that where you want to live, Evvie? Of that, like, aren't you, like, can't you see Survivor 41 as being like, what is it, like, the Gabon or the Vanuatu, where like 3 years from now, that they're asking like, hey, what's your hottest take? It's like, actually, and like 4 survivors, like Survivor 41 is a really good season.
Well,
it's really good. And people are like, yes, this is the correct take.
Yeah. Well, I would love that, but I do think that involves people thinking about it again, which maybe, they will.
You're on your way.
Yeah,
it's happening.
I just think about you're watching Survivor 49. You're like, man, Jeff said that's a twist, but they all knew that there was going to be a split tribal here. Damn, that's not that interesting. Go back to when it was a huge surprise. Every element, the number of days, the food, shot upon shot,
the do or die.
These amazing staples that we need in Survivor, like the hourglass.
Everybody's like, what? What's happening?
Yeah. Yeah. And that was fun.
Jeff's talking in the camera.
Yeah, which I didn't know that. That was a surprise for me.
The game within the game.
Yeah, GWG. Like, come on. We need that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you see that they announced Survivor 50 is going to have a 3-hour premiere, Evvie?
I did see that. I mean, it's Survivor, I believe them. I believe them. They've got 3 hours of content with those 20 people. Does it feel a little long? Yes.
Do you think that we will have one vote out or multiple vote outs in the first episode?
I think because it's, and I was not, I'll be honest, when you, I wasn't tracking the Survivor 50 pre-news so much because I, knew that I was not going to be part of it. And that made me sad. And so remind me, it's 20 people.
24.
24. Yeah, 24. Okay, so then it has, I think that's probably why, maybe they're going back to the old school, like basically 2 episodes in the first episode.
Oh, maybe you think it'll be 2 episodes the first night.
You know what I mean? Or like not literally, but like it could be 2
Survivor
rounds.
41, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe it's a 2-hour premiere and 2 people go home. You have 2 tribal councils.
True. Yes. True.
Yeah. And so I wonder,
I guess,
could you potentially have one, one challenge and 2 tribes, 2 tribes both go to tribal council, and is that what they did in Survivor 41?
Yes, that is what they did in Survivor 41. And I guess, it has to be that way because it doesn't really help them to have 2 rounds in a row.
But also Survivor Winners at War, the first episode was there is a challenge, there's a tribal council, Natalie gets voted out, and then we get basically like the second episode where there's another challenge and then Amber gets voted out.
Right.
So we have basically 2 tribal councils, two basically almost like it's 2 episodes in one night. We'll see. That's a February question.
Yeah. I do feel as much as I hated it of being in the first challenge and knowing that 2 tribes had to vote someone else had to vote someone out. It really does. The stakes of the 3 tribes is much higher when you do that than, most of these people don't have a vote for so long. You know what I mean? I think inducing that element does make it more stressful in the good Survivor stress monster way. Okay. Remember the monster?
Yeah, Juwan's still talking about the monster.
Yeah, that's
Survivor's a horror movie.
That's right.
We're still in Act 2.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to bring in some questions for Evvie, but let me just thank our sponsor for this episode of the podcast, our friends over at Manta Sleep. Now, Evvie, how was your sleep on Survivor?
Not great. Not great.
Not great.
No, it's horrible.
Only be helped by the Manta Sleep Mask, which is that the game is fluid and the mask is too. It's adjustable. It is completely blackout. Now, are you a napper?
I'm not, but I'm a huge sleep mask person. I'm actually quite intrigued. I'm gonna check this out. I could use a new one, honestly.
Evvie, you could you move you have eyes that are far apart from each other. You can move the things far away. It's complete. You make it your own. They don't care.
Yeah,
do whatever you want.
The only way to sleep on Survivor is with the buff over your eyes, in my opinion. So if you had a manta, you'd be good to go.
Yeah. And of course, it is perfect for the side sleepers too. So Black Friday is coming up. How about Blackout Friday over at Manta Sleep? Get 10% off your order with the promo code RHAP49. All right, we asked the listeners for some questions for Evvie, and let's see. How about Allison wants to know, were you ever asked to share science facts during a challenge on Survivor? So we know if you were doing the challenge, you wouldn't want to. But what if you were out and they were like, Evvie, quick, hit us with some Neanderthal facts?
That's great. I could have produced a lot of Neanderthal facts, but I probably wouldn't have because I was trying to downplay that academic situation. I was really trying to be, I'm just a fun gay person out here. Don't even think too hard about anything else. And that didn't work. So I could have probably talked more about Neanderthals. And
did anybody have fun, interesting facts on Survivor 41?
Xander had a lot of it. Like in our first tribal council, he told this like crazy metaphor story about, I feel like it was like ancient Rome and they released snakes to get out the rats or something. Like it was. And it was, right. It was a whole thing. So I think you could have had that. Who else would have had good facts? I mean, it wasn't really a fact oriented because it's like Danny probably could have talked about football a lot, but he wouldn't. You know, people were talking about God, but not in that way.
But isn't that like a thing? Like maybe that you want to like tell people what your job is? And I asked this to Nate in the exit interview. I said, Nate, did you ever think about maybe you should have told people about your profession? He's like, you know what? In hindsight, I was so worried about, they're not going to give me the money. But then all of my good stories are about making movies. I couldn't tell any funny stories that I had. And so it really made me more disconnected from people.
Right. That's what I really think. I mean, and that's why I liked my little lie where I basically still was talking about my exact same workplace and my exact same thing. I just gave myself like a different role in the system. But like, yeah, I did one night tell my whole like experiment that I was working on to, to the tribe. And that was fun because you just need to, you need to be able to talk about yourself. I think honestly, the thing that is the most equivalent that we would do for long stretches of time on Survivor 41 was just classic Survivor, just decadently describe the meals that we were going to have, which you might think, I know are you a person who likes to talk about food on Survivor?
I hate it.
I loved it. It was doing something for me. And I could tell you what all the Yasa people like to eat for breakfast, and I'll never
Anybody
forget.
have anything really weird?
Well, we're talking a lot about Xander, but again, the paleo introduces some things. So I think he would have a sweet potato Eggo type situation with like savory stuff on top of it was a go-to.
He would make
breakfast.
A waffle out of sweet potatoes.
Yes, I think it might be a product that exists.
Okay.
Yeah. Weird stuff like that, but you're just talking for a long time. Yeah.
You totally undersold the sweet potato Eggo.
Yeah, exactly. Xander candy. Yeah.
that's Xander candy. Yeah. It doesn't sound bad. I like sweet potatoes.
There was something weird about it that I'm not forgetting. Maybe like because there was something very combo with the sweet potato Eggo that seemed weird, but I guess I would forget.
Okay. So Q Dog wants to know. I'd love to hear Evvie talk about why playing in the middle is so difficult in the new era.
Do you think it's more difficult in the new era than in the prior eras?
I don't really know if there is a middle typically in the new, like I feel like that there's not typically two sides, and I think that this has been an unusual. What's interesting about this post merge is that there are two sides, and it is a little bit more of a throwback old school where I don't feel like that there are two sides going back and forth. Like take a look at Survivor 41 for instance. Did you feel like that there were like if there's not necessarily two sides, there's like a big majority. And there's a few people that are on the outs at the merge, and then they're getting picked off, and then somebody's like, "Whoa, that person is a big threat to win. Let's take them out." And so you're sort of just under the radar, but I wouldn't necessarily say that you're in the middle. You're just going back to I used to talk about the threats, the nothings, and the losers.
Right.
Like playing the middle was just like, okay, I'm just a nothing. Nobody's thinking of me as a threat that they are trying to take out or a loser that can't win.
Right. I mean, I guess it's like, maybe the most equivalent is like the Tika 3 in Survivor 44 is kind of the middle between. There was a war going on.
There was two sides. Yeah.
There was two sides. But like, I think it's a good point in that. I mean, I think the key always when playing the middle is you should not be so obvious that you are playing the middle. Right. I think that's the flaw when you're
nobody should know you're playing the middle.
Right. Exactly. And so I think
the jig is up. Once people know you're in the middle.
Right. Then you're the middle, and then actually you're not with anybody, which I think is what happened with Alex. It's not so much the middle as much as no one cared that much if he got voted out, right? Whereas Blue Soph has been actually playing the middle to some degree. I mean, she knows what side she's on, but not everybody else knows what side she's on, and she's been getting that kind of middle-y information. So But people are very invested in her. Like it wasn't going to work for her to be the
the key to playing the middle is that everybody has to feel like you're with them.
Right.
That once people are like, oh no, he's not with us. He's playing the middle.
Right. I really remember in San Juan del Sur, like John Mish, like and Jack, they're always like, we're in the middle again, and it's like that worked to some degree in that season, but it's like if you're saying I'm in the middle, you're saying I'm not really with any of my allies, right? So
that's like what Rizzo said.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's really the problem. But yeah, it's true that I can't really think of a good middle-y person. So I guess it must be
one person who played the middle in the new era.
Yeah, I'm trying. Like, who is that person?
I mean, I feel like that Andy was trying to do that, but then he kind of locked in with one side in Survivor 47.
Yeah. Is anyone playing the middle in 46? Like Venus was kind of doing her own thing, kind of?
No, I don't think so. I don't think anybody was really playing the middle at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's also, there is, again, middle, being so clearly identified as the middle, not great in general. But then yeah, maybe there is something to the shortened timeline. Like, I just think everybody is there's a fluidity in general. So that makes it difficult to like be firmly in the middle when the middle is shifting. Again, I think the people playing the middle the most in this game are Juwan and Sage.
Yeah. Okay. This is from Luke, who wants to know, what's your comparison from season 41 of Jawan in season 49? Who's the Jawan from season 41?
Who's the Juwan? I mean, I think Juwan is a really interesting person and a player in general.
He's a great character on the
Great
show.
character. Huh, it's like in what degree, towards like which part? It's a good question. I'm not immediately coming up with a with a analogy, because he's a kind of special guy. I don't know, like him and Sage come together for this beautiful little alliance that's running the game. Is that Heather and Erica being the misfits on their original group, and then they blindside
Is he Heather or Erica?
It remains to be seen, I guess. Heather has some quirks that are a little sagey, so I might give him the Erica. For example, she loves possums and collecting them. And
yes. Does she put them in a jar?
I don't know. I don't know, but some might say possums are the blackheads of the animal community.
Wow.
You got to ask Omer about that. If that's
yeah.
Omer,
I don't know. If you're listening, let us know.
Yeah, he's a fun guy. Like I think he's playing an interesting game. I think like there's something a little Deshawn-y about him to me, in that he has a lot of power and is then kind of making some, in my opinion, erratic decisions that is a little Deshawn-y, but it's not like at all in the same way, where Deshawn is way more, I feel like, overtly charming in a way that Juwan is not.
Yeah. Tell me if you think this is an unfair comparison.
Okay.
You brought in Deshawn. I could see Juwan having a very bad 0-vote final tribal council.
Ooh.
And I think, Deshawn did get Danny's vote.
Yes.
But
I could
see Juwan maybe having like a word salady final tribal council where he's talking about his game one way, and maybe people are like, that's not how it went.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I mean, I feel like the thing that was so hard for Deshawn, right, is he's going into tribal thinking everybody loves him, and actually everyone's really pissed off with him. And I think that he knew that some people were pissed off with him, but I think he thought that would kind of fade faster. I could see that happening to Juwan, where he thinks of himself as playing with everybody, and we see that he is like blindsiding people. But I feel that he is, at least in his confessionals, he's quite clear that he's like, scheming. But I guess so is Deshawn. Yeah, it's all really about how do you think that the other people think about you.
Well, I think here's where there could be the disconnect for Juwan, because now I feel like that Juwan in his confessionals is getting a little mustache twirly.
Yes.
He's like, hey, like in the movie Jaws, like I'm the shark now, and now I hear the music, and I'm taking people out left and right. Meanwhile, Kristina's like, I feel so bad for Juwan. He doesn't get to eat. Juwan, take my spot in the reward. You go, you do this. He's like, I don't know. He's like, no, you do it, please. I beg of you. He's like, well, I'm so humble. I'm not great at receiving things. And then if he turns around and votes out Kristina, she's like, can you believe the nerve of this guy? Yep. I gave up my spot. I gave up my cheesecake and blueberries and fried chicken and French fries to this guy, and then he voted me out.
Yep. Similarly, I think that you could imagine a similar thing happening for Sage, kind of what I was saying at the beginning. If she comes to Final Tribal and is like, I'm this misfit, I was so left out.
I was on the bottom.
Right. It's like, yeah, you were, and then you weren't. And then you really weren't. So it's like,
Yeah. And just on top of it, in terms of like MC as a jury voter, where MC, I think, might be on the jury and is like, hey, Juwan, I told you were going to get voted out. You turned around and voted me out.
Literally. Right. Exactly. So, it's hard to be the person that has so much blood on your hands. So, but I think you just really, really have to own it. So
you have to own it. You can't be sheepish about it. And I worry about Juwan not necessarily coming in and was like, listen, I was like the most cutthroat SOB this game's ever seen. And you're damn right. I deserve this money.
Yeah. Yeah. It is really so fun though that Sage and Jawan became the power players at this point. Like I just think, wait, are we open on this podcast about who are the 49 people on 50 or no?
We're not.
No, we don't know anything about that.
If you know, you know. But yeah, you're right.
I didn't expect that it was going to go this way.
Are Juwan and Sage sort of like victims of their own success? Where sort of like that they were sort of like at the peak of their powers when they were the overlooked underdogs of the season. But then they really have not known how to have prosperity in the game. And now the game flipped over. They're on the top and they're like, we did not expect to be here.
Yes.
We do not know how to do this. This is first day for us in charge, and we don't know how to play this.
Yep. And I think they popped maybe too soon. Like I think if they had this like flip moment, final 7 or something, then they could retain that lovable underdog thing.
Yeah.
But I think especially now that they've blindsided people on both sides,
they big move too early.
Yeah. I mean, a classic Survivor problem.
Classically too soon. And I feel like the new era is like, okay, well, you got to wait till final 7, final 6. Like,
but it wasn't. Not that taking Alex out was a big move. That's what's so frustrating about it.
Like I think that the Nate thing was the big move that they made.
Right, and that was good. I think that was if you're gonna do that, do that. But then you got to
pick the wrong person.
I see. Okay, I'm not as sure about that because I do think that Nate had a really good social thing that could have been more of a problem than we are maybe accounting. Like I think he had a potential. You could have seen him really getting in with Kristina and Steven. Like, I don't know. I think he could have worked it.
Maybe.
I don't think it was a horrible pick.
I've been trying to find out like who called in the hit on Nate. And in my exit interview with Alex today, I feel like that Alex was definitely taking some ownership over that. Nate was saying Alex's name as a person that needed to go. I think that Alex was one of the people that was driving the Nate vote, but that when Nate was still there, like I think it was much harder for Savannah and Rizzo to do the things that they're doing now.
And they're doing great underdog stuff. Like, this is what you want to see from the underdogs. And so, yeah, it's just not how I expected it to go. And I think that's fun. But I don't know. It's hard to say the road not traveled. Not shocked that Alex in his interview said it was his idea. We might need to talk to a few more people.
Okay, you think revisionist history, but I just think that they blew that vote because that if you don't vote for Nate, and they could have hit Rizzo, they could have hit Savannah, they hit one of those other two people. What does this season look like if Savannah goes home with that tribal council, and now all of a sudden the other side is Rizzo, Nate, and Soph. Soph is not sticking around to work with Rizzo and Nate.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's a good point about the dynamics of that. Like, and I don't remember. Yeah,
or blindside Rizzo with the idol, and then it's gonna be Savannah, Nate, and Soph.
Yeah, I mean, I think you had people like Kristina, who I feel like she was talking about the Nate move, right? And it's like, for her, it's so obvious. It will always be these two sides. It will always be yellow versus red. We take out our red, and then next week we just take out the next red. No big deal. We've got the numbers now, and it's fine. But if you're not going to cut the head off the snake, you got to cut the head off the snake. I mean, that's what you're saying, right? But if you're not, you got to focus on that snake again soon.
See, I think that they did cut the head off the snake. I think that you got to cut the middle out of the snake because like you cut the head off the snake, there's still a whole like big like tail of the snake that's going to be still like rattling around. But if you cut off the middle of the snake, now like what is it, like you got like a half a snake over here, half a snake over here. It's nothing.
That's pretty good. I like that. I like that. I mean,
cut the snake down the middle.
Yeah. And I guess they were not expecting Savannah to win 2 in a row,
No.
But maybe you should expect that, she's clearly a physical threat. Yeah. Wait, side note, why didn't they just, I mean, I guess they just did want to take Alex out. I'm like, both in this vote and the last vote, why didn't they just make those the backup plans? Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, if you like,
well, from whose perspective? Tell me what you want to do.
I mean, I think Juwan and Sage have the most agency, right? So I think it makes the most sense from their perspective.
Why didn't they just do what? Vote for Rizzo?
Do a split vote. Some votes on Rizzo, some votes on Alex. Tell people we don't want Soph to be the backup. We want Alex because we want him out more.
The thing was, and if they really were okay with that, it's like all the people from the other side were already voting for Alex.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. You could have just all voted for Rizzo. Like, why did they get involved with a backup plan?
Right.
Like, okay, we're like, hey, they're voting for Alex. Let's all vote for Rizzo. Big deal. If he plays the idol, then Alex will go home. No skin off our nose.
Tell Rizzo you agree. He's been telling you all day, Alex. You're right. Everyone's voting for Alex, but your guys are actually voting for Rizzo. And then he play, because he wants to work with Rizzo. Like, I think that's the truth, is like, they don't want Rizzo out that bad.
Certainly, I think that Juwan has, some affinity for Rizzo. I don't think that Sage does.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think that Sage might have been a little bit more, I don't want to vote out Soph.
Right.
And maybe she was like, I don't care about Alex.
Right.
I think that really the thing that's the motivator for Sage is I don't want Savannah in the game.
Yes. And that's clear. And again, Savannah being immune has been really great for their alliance. Yeah.
Can I ask you, do you want to weigh in on the, like, Savannah's a mean girl? She's a mean girl.
Yeah. Was she mean? I mean, she found Juwan annoying. Is that our main evidence? Like, I get, like,
she was, if anything, she was mean to Juwan. But have we seen her be mean to anybody else?
Yeah, I do think that there's something where she has a very polished exterior, right? She seems like she could be. And I think, but again, which is again a little bit back to, I think if you had, she's a news reporter, she's a news anchor. That's what we're seeing. It's a news anchor. You know what I mean? And like, I just don't think, I think I understand why people are saying that, but it's not really based in, we've seen a lot meaner people on Survivor.
Maybe you could help me like crystallize the thoughts on this, because I feel like it is something that is gendered in terms of if Savannah's a man, she doesn't get talked about like this. I think that Savannah comes across, and there is a lot of great material about this, about charisma, and charisma is, I believe Vanessa Van Edwards is a person that talks about this, of charisma is made up of basically competency and warmth. And I think that Savannah really comes across as she is extremely competent. She's sharp. She's good in the challenges. She wants it. But there maybe is not a lot of warmth from Savannah. And I think that maybe, she's mean.
Yeah. I mean, I think the combination of, I think also what you're getting at is there's some, I feel that kind of polished exterior kind of, leads to potentially a lack of vulnerability that people are feeling. But then we've seen her now in this, now that she's on the bottom, we've seen in her individual relationships, her be much more, vulnerable.
She has a
and things
sensitivity.
Like that. Yeah. At the end of the day, I'm like, she's a beautiful woman and she seems like she could have been popular in high school, and and people pick up on that. And I think I think if she was the dominant force in the game right now, I would probably be more, I'd be thinking it more too. Like, it's just, she seems like someone who would be in power and would be in charge. And I think people don't like when beautiful women are doing that. And I think that is, messed up in our society. But I don't remember any specific evidence of her being very mean, except not, being annoyed by Juwan, that's okay. Be annoyed by people.
I'm very curious to think about how she might do on the jury, because I feel like that without the warmth, is warmth something you need to get the votes in the final tribal council?
So I think it's about the, like, I don't know, because I think that, like we were saying, this thing of, can you own your game being this key thing? And I do feel that you'd rather, yes, I think warmth and like that type of connection is one way to build that rapport with the jury. But I think that I can really see her going to the jury guns blazing of like, here are all the things that I've done, like kind of in that professional mode a bit. And I think it could work. I think saying to this jury, like just owning it of like, I was on the bottom and no one wanted to work with me. And then I won, 2 challenges and blah, blah. Like, I think she will not probably be doing, well, I don't know. Maybe she'll do like, if she were to be there, maybe she would do some of this like polished stuff that maybe is jarring as an individual relationship, but is actually what you're supposed to be doing on the jury. And I don't know, maybe she will also reveal some of this. It does seem like she's actually struggling emotionally. Like it's possible that in the, I think I thought the mean girl thing more in the pre-merge. And I think different traits do come out when you're at the top or at the bottom.
When she was riding high. Yeah. And I think it's a good point about that. I wouldn't necessarily say that she is really oozing warmth, but she has shown this vulnerability. And I wonder if that, because I think when you look back, like just in the new era, when we look back at like the winners, that they certainly have competency, but often they have warmth. And you think about the people that have won, and they really, even if they don't have like there's some people that say, was there, like Gabler, for instance, okay, was there competency, but there's a lot of warmth,
right,
that can win out. But if you can have competency and vulnerability, could vulnerability be an apt substitute for a lot of warmth?
Yeah, I mean, I really think so. Like, I think like, in my season, Erica was not the person that most people had like a super strong relationship with. People just also didn't have a really negative relationship with her because they didn't feel like that betrayal feeling is worse when you feel that you have a close emotional relationship with someone in a way that if you're not forming those and you get to the end, you don't have to repair those, so I don't know. I think having some level of vulnerability too, though, does make you human. So yeah, I think people see what they want to see. And I think like we don't, I saw you saw the interview with Cochran and John Lovett. The whole John Lovett podcast, so good. Yeah.
Yes.
So good. And I think the thing Cochran said of like, if there are no true villains, we will find villains in more regular people. And I think like there were eras of Survivor where you had hot women being really mean to people, and they're not here. So you got the closest allegory, is maybe Savannah.
Yeah. I voted most of them out.
Good work. Yeah. Except for the one that won.
Except for the one that won.
Yeah.
Who was very, very warm.
Totally.
And competent. Okay.
Totally.
Evvie, I know you have to get to Wicked. Anything else on your mind?
I don't know. Let's see. Let me look at my let me say little notes. I don't know. I think we got it. I think I'm liking this. I'm liking where we're going. I'm heated,
We're heating up.
Yeah, this season really is heating up. I love the new era, like I'm from the new era, birds
so
by
are you
it.
sad if it's ending?
Well, I want it to end and change because it's what people don't like is that it has not changed enough. You know what I mean? And so I was honestly hoping that it's like, okay, we reached the end. Now it's a chapter. Now it's just a book, and now we have a new book, and then we can be like, oh, remember the new era,
Yeah.
Side note, have you seen that Zoran in his campaigns, all his transition stuff is a new era for New York? Do you think that's related?
Is that why he had so many new era people in the commercial?
I think you can only think it's that, right?
Yeah. So I think that would have been a great marketing thing if they would have called it Survivor 49 End of the New Era. Like I think if they could have really like, it's the end of the new era. You have to see how the new era goes out. Like I think that they really made a mistake there to not really.
Yes.
Because I think that it took a long time for this season to get going, and it was really like 49. It's the one before 50.
Yeah.
Like they didn't give people a reason to like sink their teeth into it. And it's just like, hey, it's just the placeholder season, but it has really picked up over these last couple of weeks. And so I've been grateful for that.
And maybe Survivor 51, dawn of an even newer era, that just rolls right off the tongue.
I really would love to see them come out of the box with something of, and not like even more newish. Like, I don't know, like themes are back. Like,
right? I would love. I just think they are really creative people. Like, there's so many of the same people that have been working on the show the whole time. They've come up with so much stuff. Like, they must be bored now too, right? Like, they see it. I don't know. Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
You know, themes are back. 2 tribes, like a throwback.
Hourglass.
Right. Yeah. Reverse. Yes. That's how the new era ends. We break the hourglass and we go back to the old era. It doesn't even have to be 39 days. Just like, okay, we've been listening.
They smash it and rice falls out. And then it's like, no. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I love that. What a perfect ending.
Yeah. That would be good.
Okay. All right. Evvie, where can people keep up with you?
Well, you can find me on Instagram at Evvie Jag, and you'll find me have you ever been to the Hearts of Reality or Now It's Over the Edge, Rob?
No, but I just wanted you to say like, and if you care to find me, look to the southern states.
That would have been good. That would have been good. Well, I will be there in Florida. So if you're coming to Orlando, I'll see you there. And I'm fundraising for that event. And also today is Trans Day of Remembrance. So I would be remiss to not point out that far too many trans people in this country experience violence for just being who they are. It's getting worse. I'm raising money for Point of Pride, which is an organization that gives healthcare and other supplies to trans people. We raised money for it on the Pride Has Spoken last year. And it's a great cause. So you can find that on my Instagram. And
how are you fundraising?
So you have a link for that in my bio. So you can go there. It's also shared in my story right now if you're listening to this right now. And the money goes to that amazing organization. So you can find that on my bio, and I would really appreciate that for the world. And and it's all connected to the Over the Edge thing in the kind of way that they organize all the fundraisers. So
yeah, when is that coming up?
It is I believe it's the weekend of December 5th, that first weekend in Florida. Jake and I are buying tickets from Boston, but we haven't
I'm looking
yet.
forward to, like, I would like to, we should send a correspondent down
Rob,
there too.
It's wild. It's the craziest
Will you report on it for us?
No, because I can't, I can't tell. You know what I mean? It's like, you got to go. Like, but it's, if you get to just hang out with people, like Jerry and Sandra.
Can we send Chappelle? Could he go down there? But he's got to keep notes.
Yeah, well, there's some RHAP listeners that I know are always there. Atticus, if you're listening, I bet you'll be there.
Sure,
he's always there. So,
okay,
that's where some stuff happens, Rob. You know,
Is Brandon Donald, are you going there? Let me see. What does he say?
He better. I've been pitching it. I've been trying to. There was not enough new era.
He left. He must have to go see Wicked also.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Anyway,
thank you so much for joining us. Looking forward to seeing what you have to say in the comments as always. And then, of course, I'll be doing the patron Q&A on Friday. Plus, Dawn Meehan coming out on the old school interview. Take care, everybody. Have a good one. Bye. This is RHAP. We know reality TV.